Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins All World, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Today, we have something truly special for you, a coin that might be sitting in your collection or even in your pocket right now, without you realizing its true potential value. We're talking about the 1964 Jefferson nickel, a seemingly common coin that has captured the attention of collectors around the world. If you're a coin lover, or just curious about what makes certain coins worth thousands of dollars, then this video is for you. Stick around, because by the end, you might be shocked at what your own 1964 Jefferson nickel could be worth. Let's start with the basics. The 1964 Jefferson nickel is part of a series that has been in circulation since 1938. On the front, you'll find the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, facing left. Below his image, the word "Liberty" is inscribed, along with the phrase, "In God We Trust." The date 1964 is visible beneath Jefferson's portrait, and the mint mark can be found to the right of his neck, indicating where the coin was struck. On the reverse side of the coin, there is a depiction of Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, which is one of the most iconic features of this series. At first glance, this might just seem like another standard coin that you've seen countless times before. But here's where things get exciting. Despite the 1964 Jefferson nickel being a relatively common coin in terms of mintage, there are certain variations, conditions, and errors that can make it extraordinarily valuable. Now, one of the key things that sets this coin apart from others is its rarity and pristine condition. Although millions of these coins were minted, the truth is that most of them were circulated, and with time, many have suffered from wear and tear. If you happen to have a 1964 Jefferson nickel in uncirculated condition, then you're already starting to look at a coin that has much higher value than its face value of 5 cents. Uncirculated coins are highly sought after by collectors because they're much harder to come by, and their condition makes them a rare find, but that's not all. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is discovering minting errors, and the 1964 Jefferson nickel is no exception. There are certain minting mistakes that can drastically increase the value of this coin. For example, one of the most desirable errors in the world of numismatics is the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is struck more than once, resulting in a doubling effect on the letters or numbers. In the case of the 1964 Jefferson nickel, a double die error on the word "Liberty" or the date could make this coin a highly sought-after item. Imagine finding a coin where the "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" appears slightly doubled. This mistake could add a significant premium to its value. Another potential error is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin is not aligned properly during the minting process. If your 1964 Jefferson nickel has part of its design shifted or missing, this is a unique error that would make the coin stand out among the rest. Collectors love off-center coins because they're one of a kind, and they can carry a much higher value than their normal counterparts, but don't just think that the value of your coin depends on errors alone. The coin's condition plays a huge role as well. A coin with minimal wear, sharp details, and no visible scratches or damage is a much more valuable piece than one that has been in circulation for decades. Coins that have been kept in pristine condition are extremely rare, and they are often the ones that fetch the highest prices at auctions and among private buyers. A 1964 Jefferson nickel with flawless details could easily be worth thousands of dollars, depending on its overall condition and whether it has any of the rarer minting errors. So, what exactly could a 1964 Jefferson nickel with these characteristics and errors be worth? If you find one in top-tier, uncirculated condition or one with a rare minting error, you could be holding a coin worth $55,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $55,000. That's right, a single 1964 Jefferson nickel could fetch an incredible price if it's in the right condition or has an extraordinary minting error. It's the kind of coin that collectors dream of stumbling upon in their collections or in a change jar at home. Now, what does this mean for you as a collector? Whether you're new to coin collecting or a seasoned veteran, the 1964 Jefferson nickel is one to watch out for. Take a look at your own collection, check your spare change, and see if you have any of these rarer versions of this coin. If you do, it could be your ticket to a significant windfall. coin collecting is an exciting journey full of surprises, and the 1964 Jefferson nickel is just one example of how a seemingly small piece of history can hold immense value. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a treasure without even realizing it. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of U.S. coin history that could be sitting in your collection or hiding in your spare change. What if I told you that a simple 5-cent coin, the 1985 Jefferson nickel, could be worth far more than its face value? Yes, you heard that right. This unassuming coin has the potential to fetch a jaw-dropping amount on the market, and today we're going to explore exactly why. Buckle up, because you're about to learn how a 1985 Jefferson nickel could make you a lot richer than you ever thought possible. Let's start with a quick refresher on the 1985 Jefferson nickel. This coin is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series, which has been in circulation since 1938. On the obverse, you'll find a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. This design, created by artist Felix Schlag, has become iconic and represents the founding values of the nation. Alongside Jefferson's image, you'll see the inscription, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year of mintage, 1985, just beneath his chin. On the reverse side, the coin features a depiction of Jefferson's home, Monticello, which adds to the coin's charm and historical significance. So, what makes the 1985 Jefferson nickel stand out from the hundreds of millions of other nickels that were minted in that year? It's all about rarity, condition, and potential minting errors that could skyrocket the coin's value. Now, let's talk about condition. Like many other coins, the value of the 1985 Jefferson nickel is greatly influenced by how well it's been preserved. The reality is, most of the 1985 nickels were circulated, meaning they've seen wear and tear, scratches, and even discoloration over the years. However, if you have a nickel from 1985 that has been kept in uncirculated condition, no scratches, no damage, no discoloration, then you've already got something special. Uncirculated coins are significantly rarer than those that have been used for everyday transactions, and collectors are always on the lookout for coins that have been preserved in pristine condition. But wait, there's more. Mint errors are what really make a coin like the 1985 Jefferson nickel stand out in the world of coin collecting. Errors happen when the minting process goes wrong, and these mistakes can make a coin incredibly rare and valuable. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die variety, where the coin's design has been struck multiple times, causing the image to appear doubled. If your 1985 Jefferson nickel shows any doubling, particularly in the words, "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," on the obverse side, it could be worth a substantial amount of money. Double die errors are especially prized because they are unique and hard to come by, making them a dream find for collectors. Another type of error that could increase the value of your 1985 Jefferson nickel is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. If you happen to have an off-center 1985 Jefferson nickel, then you've got yourself a coin that stands out from the rest. Off-center coins are incredibly rare, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these unique pieces. The combination of rarity, condition, and potential minting errors is what drives up the value of the 1985 Jefferson nickel. While most of these coins are worth just a few cents, if you're lucky enough to have one in uncirculated condition or with a minting error, the value can skyrocket. And now, for the big reveal, a 1985 Jefferson nickel in top condition, especially one with a double die error or an off-center strike, could be worth $50,000. That's right, $50,000. Who would have thought that a simple 5-cent coin could have such an enormous value? It's an exciting reminder that in the world of coin collecting, it's the little details and unique characteristics that can turn an ordinary coin into a treasure. If you're a collector, or even if you've just started dabbling in the hobby, always keep an eye out for those rare coins that might look like any other at first glance. A well-preserved 1985 Jefferson nickel could be hiding in your collection, and you might not even know it yet. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin that you might not expect to be worth much at first glance, the 1972 Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it's just another nickel, right? But if you've got a sharp eye for detail and an interest in rare coins, this could be a game changer. this is a coin with more to it than meets the eye. The 1972 Jefferson nickel is part of the iconic Jefferson nickel series, which has been in circulation since 1938. We all know the front of the coin, featuring the well-known portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, created by the talented Felix Schlag. But have you ever stopped to think about how this simple 5-cent piece could become incredibly valuable? Let's break down exactly why the 1972 Jefferson nickel is so special and what could make it worth a lot more than its face value. One of the most important factors that determine a coin's value is its condition. Most of the 1972 Jefferson nickels you'll find are likely to be well worn. After all, they've been circulating for decades. However, finding one that's in pristine, uncirculated condition is what makes this coin stand out. A coin in this state has never been used for transactions, meaning no scratches, no discoloration, and no signs of wear. An uncirculated 1972 Jefferson nickel is quite rare, and collectors are always hunting for these pieces because they're harder to find. But wait, there's more. The real treasure lies in minting errors. Errors are the golden ticket in coin collecting, and they're what truly set some coins apart from the masses. For the 1972 Jefferson nickel, there are a few potential errors that can make the coin extraordinarily valuable. One of the most coveted is the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is struck more than once, causing the images to appear slightly doubled. If your 1972 Jefferson nickel shows any signs of doubling, especially in the words, "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," it could be worth thousands of dollars. These double die varieties are highly sought after because they're unique and can't be replicated. Another error that could skyrocket the value of your 1972 nickel is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be cut off or pushed to one side. Off-center coins are incredibly rare, and collectors love them because they're one-of-a-kind pieces. If you find a 1972 Jefferson nickel that has an off-center strike, you could be looking at a serious windfall. In addition to these errors, there's also the possibility of the 1972 Jefferson nickel being made from wrong planchets. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that gets struck to create a coin, and occasionally, coins are struck on the wrong planchet by mistake. If your 1972 nickel happens to have been struck on a planchet meant for another coin, like a dime or a quarter, this error can make your coin worth a fortune. These mistakes are incredibly rare, which is why they're highly prized by collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for them. So, what does all this mean for the value of your 1972 Jefferson nickel? If you've got a coin in uncirculated condition, or even one with a minting error like a double die or an off-center strike, it could be worth significantly more than you might think. In fact, a well-preserved or error-ridden 1972 Jefferson nickel could fetch $53,000. Yes, that's right, $53,000. It's incredible to think that such a simple, everyday coin could hold such immense value. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's all about understanding the nuances, looking for those small details that most people overlook, and realizing the potential of a coin that might seem ordinary to the untrained eye. The 1972 Jefferson nickel serves as a great reminder of how a coin's rarity, condition, and any errors it may carry can transform it from just another 5-cent piece to a true collector's treasure. If you've got a collection of nickels or you're just starting out, take a second look at your 1972 Jefferson nickels. They could be more valuable than you ever imagined. Make sure to carefully check for any signs of wear, and keep an eye out for any minting errors that could make your coin stand out in the world of collectors. If you find one of these gems, you could be holding a small fortune in your hands. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that may look familiar, but trust me, it's not your average 5-cent piece. We're talking about the 1990 Jefferson nickel, a coin that holds far more value than most people realize. If you've got one of these in your collection, you might just have a hidden treasure worth a small fortune. Now, the 1990 Jefferson nickel may not be as old as some of the other coins we've discussed in the past, but don't let that fool you. This coin carries with it a unique set of characteristics and potential errors that could make it incredibly valuable to the right collector. Jefferson nickels have been in circulation since 1938, and over the years, the series has seen a number of changes and variations, but the 1990 issue holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. Let's first take a look at the design of this iconic coin. On the obverse, you'll find the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, designed by Felix Schlag. Jefferson's image has graced the nickel since the 1930s and remains one of the most recognizable profiles on American coinage. On the reverse, you'll see an image of Monticello, Jefferson's beloved estate, which has also been a mainstay of the design since the coin was first introduced. At first glance, the 1990 Jefferson nickel might seem like just another piece of modern currency. But if you know what to look for, you might realize that this coin holds some surprising potential for those with a keen eye for detail. One of the biggest factors that make this coin special is its rarity and condition. Coins that are in mint or uncirculated condition are always in high demand, as they represent the highest quality available from the mint. Many 1990 nickels were in circulation for years, leading to wear and tear on the majority of these coins. However, coins that have been preserved in excellent condition, without any signs of scratches, discoloration, or damage, are much rarer and therefore much more valuable, but it doesn't stop there. The true allure of the 1990 Jefferson nickel lies in the possibility of minting errors. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for those rare, unintentional mistakes made during the minting process. These errors can make a coin incredibly valuable because they're unique, often one-of-a-kind pieces that can never be recreated. For the 1990 Jefferson nickel, there are a few types of errors that could drastically increase its worth. One of the most coveted errors to look out for is the double die variety. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the design to appear doubled. If you've got a 1990 Jefferson nickel with doubled lettering or images, particularly in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," you could have a rare piece on your hands. These double die errors are highly sought after, and because they're so rare, they can make your coin worth thousands of dollars. Another possible error that could elevate the value of the 1990 Jefferson nickel is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the press, causing part of the design to be cut off or shifted to one side. Off-center coins are highly collectible because they are incredibly rare and can't be reproduced. If your 1990 nickel is off-center, you may be holding on to something truly special. Beyond these errors, another factor that could increase the value of your 1990 Jefferson nickel is the potential for a wrong planchet. A planchet is the blank metal disc that gets struck to create a coin. On rare occasions, coins are struck on the wrong planchet, meaning, a nickel could end up on a planchet intended for another coin, like a dime or a quarter. These wrong planchet errors are prized by collectors because they are not only rare but also a testament to the unpredictability of the minting process. So, what does all this mean for the 1990 Jefferson nickel's value? If you happen to have one in pristine condition or, even better, one with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be sitting on a very valuable coin. In fact, a well-preserved or error-ridden 1990 Jefferson nickel could be worth as much as $49,000. Yes, that's right, $49,000. It's incredible to think that a simple coin like the 1990 Jefferson nickel, which most people might overlook, could hold such value. That's the beauty of coin collecting, the hidden potential in coins that might seem ordinary at first glance. But for those who know where to look, and who understand the factors that make a coin rare, these seemingly simple pieces of history can become priceless treasures. So, if you've got a 1990 Jefferson nickel sitting in your collection, take another look. Check the condition, look for any minting errors, and pay close attention to those small details that could turn your nickel into a major payday. And remember, coin collecting isn't just about holding on to coins, it's about understanding their history, their rarity, and what makes them truly special. Today, we're diving into one of the most interesting and often overlooked coins in American history, the 1984 Jefferson nickel. While you might think of this coin as just another 5-cent piece, you'd be surprised at how much value and rarity it can hold. For collectors, the 1984 Jefferson nickel is a fascinating coin, and it might just be sitting in your collection, waiting to surprise you with its worth. Before we go any further, let's take a moment to admire the design. On the obverse, you'll find the familiar image of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, whose portrait has been on the nickel since the 1930s. The reverse of the coin features the iconic Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home in Virginia, which is not just a symbol of American heritage but also of the historical importance of this coin. At first glance, the 1984 Jefferson nickel may seem like any other in the long-running series. But the truth is, this coin holds potential that many collectors overlook. As you might know, not all coins are created equally. Even if they share the same date, slight variations in design, minting errors, and the condition of the coin can make one example far more valuable than another. One of the most significant factors that can make a 1984 Jefferson nickel particularly valuable is its condition. Coins that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition are much rarer than those that show signs of wear and tear. Many nickels from 1984 were used extensively in everyday transactions, leading to the usual scratches, dents, and discoloration. However, if you happen to have a 1984 nickel in mint state, with no visible signs of damage and no wear on the design, you could have a coin that's far more valuable than its face value of just 5 cents. But what really sets the 1984 Jefferson nickel apart is the possibility of minting errors. Coin errors are among the most exciting aspects of collecting, as they are unpredictable and unique. For the 1984 Jefferson nickel, there are a few specific errors that could make it incredibly rare and highly sought after. One of the most valuable mistakes collectors look for is a double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once, causing the image to appear doubled. A double die on the 1984 Jefferson nickel could appear in areas such as the words, "Liberty," or, "In God We Trust," or even in the image of Jefferson himself. The double die error is one of the most coveted in coin collecting, as it makes the coin stand out as a true anomaly. If you find a 1984 nickel with a noticeable double die, you're looking at a coin that could bring in significant money. Another error to keep an eye out for is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during minting, causing the design to be shifted to one side. Off-center coins are relatively rare, and because they're not perfectly symmetrical, they hold a certain charm and uniqueness that appeals to collectors. A 1984 Jefferson nickel with an off-center strike can fetch a premium price, especially if the error is particularly pronounced. Additionally, some 1984 Jefferson nickels were struck on wrong planchets, that is, they were struck on metal blanks meant for a different denomination. For example, if a nickel was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a dime or quarter, it could make for a very unique and valuable coin. Coins like these don't just carry a mistake, they carry a piece of history that's impossible to replicate. So, how much is all of this worth? If you happen to have a 1984 Jefferson nickel in mint condition, or one with a notable error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be holding on to something truly valuable. Some of these coins have been known to sell for as much as $52,400. It's amazing to think that a simple 5-cent piece, something many people wouldn't give a second glance, could be worth a small fortune. But that's the beauty of coin collecting, there's so much to discover beneath the surface, and each coin tells a story. For those who know where to look and what to look for, the world of coin collecting is full of hidden treasures just waiting to be uncovered. Now, if you're still wondering whether you have a valuable 1984 Jefferson nickel in your possession, it's time to grab your magnifying glass and start inspecting your coins more carefully. Check for those minting errors, examine the condition, and remember that even the smallest variation can make all the difference. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If you found this information useful, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more exciting coin discoveries. And remember, coin collecting is a journey, so keep exploring and happy hunting.